Hi there, I'm Elizabeth and I like to sew smart. Today I'm going to show you how to get a really professional finish when you bind your quilt. I'm going to show you a method using your 1/4 inch foot where you can machine stitch on both sides of the binding and have a really perfect finish. So this is the finish that we're aiming for. I've stitched in red thread so that you can see where the stitch line is. So this will be on one side of your quilt, and if I turn that over, this is what you see on the other side. There's no need to hand stitch on the back. And when you come to your corner, you can have your stitch line going perfectly into the mitre and out again, and then you've got a stitched on both sides perfectly. This is your 1/4 inch foot. Most of your machines will have one. It has a little guard on for you to butt your fabric up against. And this right hand hole here, that is when you have your needle position at 3.5. The left one is for when you've got your needle position at 0. So I'm going to start sewing my binding onto the top side of my quilt using the right hand hole and a 3.5 needle position. So I'm now going to start sewing on the top side of my quilt. Again, I've got the needle position 3.5, right hand hole on the 1/4 inch foot, and I'm going to sew to just within 1/4 inch of the bottom. So to mitre your corner and get a really nice angle, use the tail of your binding, draw it up, line it up with the raw edge on the right hand side, give it a little turn back, make sure you haven't got a thread in the way. Some fabrics do fray more than others, and line it up with the second raw edge side that you're now going to stitch down. Now you can sew down our second side, again making sure that your raw edges just butt up to the shield on your 1/4 inch foot, and sew right down to the bottom, keep it in line and finish 1/4 inch again before the corner. So this is your last corner, the 4th corner, and what you're going to do on this one is you're going to stitch about 2.5 inches down and stop, because we're going to do the join of the two tails. Now to make a nice diagonal join, there are of course several ways that you can do the join, but this one I think is particularly neat. This is your open binding strip, which is this. Now you'll start with a normal square corner, turn it over, bring it down, and then cut 1/4 inch beyond the crease there. So I'll just cut that with the scissors. You just need 1/4 inch. And then when you turn that in, you will get that angle, the same as that one there. And this end you will leave squared, and what's going to happen here is that's going to tuck, if I can get it in, tuck it really neatly into there. Make sure it goes nicely in. And then you're going to stitch down here over those two to where you began and press it, and then we'll be able to turn it over. So now this is the underside of your quilt. I've turned the binding, brought the binding back up over. You're now going to stitch using the left hand hole. Your needle position will be 0. You were 3.5, you're now going to be 0. And you will stitch with your binding butted up to the little shield, start stitching, and you'll stitch right down to the corner. Take your time with this one, there's no hurry. Right the way down to the corner, and just miter the corner. So you've got a really nice sharp miter at the corner here. Bring it down. So I've turned my needle. I'm going to stitch down here again. And you'll see that you're coming up to your join. You're going to stitch right over the join and down to the next corner, all the way around. So now we've been all the way around our piece of quilting, and there is the diagonal join that we did. And you can hand stitch that down for an even neater effect. So we've stitched all the way around. I'll just show you the corner now. This is the corner, and it's really nice and neat and tidy on both sides. And I will show you in a handy hint, there are 3 ways I use to join my binding, so I hope that you'll have a look at those and find out which is the easiest for you to do.